Hi, my name is Caitlin. I work here at the Westward Distillery in Southeast Portland, and I'm going to take you through a tour of our distillery, show you how our whiskey is made from start to finish. This is our grain silo here. This is where we get our barley delivered about every week and a half. We get 50,000 pounds of barley at a time. It's coming from the Great Western Malting Company out of Vancouver, Washington, so just across the river here. We get a nice blend of barley from around the Pacific Northwest. And we love to work with barley because it grows really well here in our backyard, and it makes quality whiskey. It's got lots of sugar and great flavor. So this is our mill here. It has rollers on the inside that are going to help crush up that barley. So it's going from the grain silo through here and then onto the mash tun in the brewery. So we want to crush it up a little bit so that we can really access those starches and flavors on the inside. You don't want to go too fine because then it's hard to work with, so just a nice little smush to get to the inside. So the barley is going to go from the mill over to our mash tun inside the brewery. So we'll go check that out now. All right, so now our barley is in this mash tun. It's kind of like a big bathtub for the barley. So we're gonna introduce hot water here, and that's gonna help pull out all those yummy flavors and sugar. So then we have a really nice sweet sugar water. Then that is going to travel over to a fermentation tank. We have 4 of these that are kind of going at their own pace. So this is where we're going to introduce yeast to turn the sugar into alcohol. So we're really proud to call ourselves both a brewery and a distillery. That's what's really special about Westward, is that we start out by making a craft pale ale beer. So we really take our time with our fermentation to build a lot of flavor. So it's a really nice authentic pale ale that we're going to turn around and distill and turn into whiskey. All right, our beer wash is actually very drinkable. Most distilleries are not letting you try their beer wash because it doesn't taste great, but we're really proud that we slow down our fermentation process to gain more flavor. Always sanitize. All right, so you can see it has a lovely golden color. Kind of looks like a nice hazy beer. So it, to me, has like natural orange, apple, banana flavors. So what's really special about our brewing process is that we're actually treating this like a craft pale ale beer. So most distilleries are using a turbo yeast, nicknamed a distiller's yeast, and that will turn your sugars into alcohol in about 24 hours. It's very efficient, it's aggressive. But because you're rushing the process, you can build some off flavors. So then you fix those off flavors when you're distilling. But we're using an actual brewer's yeast, the same kind of yeast you would use to make a nice pale ale flavor. So that takes an average 5 days to ferment. It's more gentle, we're doing it at a lower temperature. So we like to take our time and build more flavor. It's great to have foundation here, so it's just gonna taste better as it gets into a barrel. So I'm gonna try a little bit. Oh yeah, that's damn good. Every time, it's so good. It's actually pretty boozy at like 10%. It tastes like a really nice like orange grain juice. It's crushable. Yeah, if we hopped this and carbonated it, it would be a big hit. But we want to turn as much as possible into whiskey. So now this beer is going to go over to the distillery. It's going to go into a pot still, and we're going to condense all this alcohol and flavor to go into barrels. Yeah, so follow me over to the distillery. All right, I'll show you a little more of our facility as we head over to our big pot still on the distillery side. So these are some new barrels that just got filled. They're numbered. These are gonna head over to our barrel aging warehouse in Milwaukee, Oregon. Not far from here, just maybe 20-25 minutes up the road. So we always like to start out in brand new, lightly charred white oak. These are coming from Missouri, where white oak is super abundant in the Ozarks. There's lots of cooperages down there. A cooper is someone that makes your barrel. We've got used barrels over here. We love to sell these to guests, and they make lots of cool projects with them. Barrels or planters are really popular. We even sell some jewelry in our tasting room out of Ben that is made from upcycled barrels. All right, so those 3,000 gallons of beer start out here in this big copper pot still. We had this custom made special for us, comes from Kentucky. So those 3,000 gallons of beer are going to boil. There are copper coils on the inside that are going to be heated by steam. So the whole concept is to have the alcohol evaporate off. We want to condense and collect all those wonderful flavors and of course the booziness. So the distillers are manipulating the temperatures to focus on the flavors that they want. So the first flavors that come off are called the heads. They're not very tasty, so we just cut it there, get rid of those. And we really want to focus on the heart. The heart is what has the most alcohol and the best of those fruity grain flavors. So it's going up through this gooseneck, also known as a swan neck, and then it's going to come back down into liquid form as it cools. So after the first run, we've gone from about 3,000 gallons of beer down to about 750 of our distillate. Then that is going to go over here into this smaller copper pot still. So we're basically going to repeat the same process but on a smaller, more efficient scale. So in the end, we're going to have 250 gallons of our alcohol grain. So this is also where we are going to monitor the tails flavor. The tails is the very last of those chemical compounds that come off, and they give those signature leather tobacco flavors, but we're going to cut it right there to really focus on the hearts. And then that is what's going to go into the barrels and age into whiskey. So it's about 140 after this process. We're going to cut it down to 125 because that's a nice smooth proof that will take on the wood flavor nice and gradually over time. All right, so now we're going to try our White Dog. So the distillers call it New Make. It has many nicknames. I like White Lightning. This is the alcohol grain that is then going to go into the barrel and age into whiskey. As you can see, it's clear, so it's going to get a lot of its color here from the barrel. So this started out as a beer, and then we condensed it. We're going to serve it to you at 90 proof, so it's palatable and also closer to what the whiskey is like that we're going to serve you. So there's a lot of flavor concentrated in here. It's going to open up and breathe with the wood, and it's really going to blossom into some interesting flavors. So let's give it a try. Oh yeah, nice. It's got a little spice to it. It's fruity, even a little bit floral. So this is really good quality for what usually goes into a barrel. It has a lot of character, a lot going on. It's got some personality, so we're really proud that it's got a really good base before it even gets into the barrel. So this is what the inside of the barrel looks like. We do a nice medium char, so like a level 2 out of 4. So they're burning it on the inside very quickly. It's like less than a minute depending on the level that you want. And that's going to help in a few ways. It's going to help soften the wood and make it more porous so that White Dog can nestle in there and really take on all the flavors. It also helps melt and activate those natural caramel and vanilla flavors that are in the oak wood. Oak is really ideal to work with because of its flavor, and it's already a little bit porous to begin with. It's also got a nice tight grain to turn into a barrel and hold all that liquid. And it actually also acts as a natural charcoal filter. So unwanted chemical compounds that build up over the years are going to be absorbed into the charcoal away from our whiskey. You can see the line right here. This is probably after 5 years that the White Dog has made its way through the wood. So I mentioned that we like to do 125 so that it takes on that wood flavor gradually over time. The Pacific Northwest is really ideal for making whiskey because we have those cool wet winters and warm dry summers. The White Dog's really able to like shrink and expand and dance in and out of the wood and take on that flavor. So we have a lot of robust flavor in a relatively short amount of time. So this is a great area for making whiskey. So the barrels get filled here, and then they're going to go to that warehouse in Milwaukee, Oregon. We're up to average 4,000 barrels these days. So it always starts in the brand new white oak, but we've got some other cool experiments in there where we like to play with other types of finishes, other types of wood. The head blender is going to babysit these barrels. He hangs out with them quite a bit, and he is going to monitor their progress. So he doesn't usually touch a barrel for the first 3 years, but from there he's sampling them on a really regular basis. He's picking somewhere between 4 and 7-year-old barrels to put together to really balance out the flavors and build a lot of that robust signature flavor that we're known for. It also helps with consistency. So once he's made his selections, they'll come back here to the distillery to mingle and then get bottled and sent out to you. Now you've seen how our whiskey is made from start to finish. We're really proud to say that we do it all ourselves here in-house. We're gonna go back into the tasting room and sit down and do a full flight. Come on down to our distillery in Portland and we will give you a nice pour of each of our whiskeys so you can see the other cool finishes that we like to do. Thanks for joining me on this tour. It was really fun to talk to you about how it's all made. I'm super proud to work for Westward. I'm pretty spoiled on our product. It's my favorite.